Hey,
Hey, how are you?
pretty good, pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm good.
Have a good weekend?
I did.
Really? Right on.
Yeah.
Anything
Except a
exciting?
little bit of snow, which freaked everybody in the South out.
Oh,
So,
wow. Wow, you guys
yeah.
get that stuff down there, huh?
No, not often, and it turns into slushy pretty
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
So, but we
Yeah,
got it. We got through it. So.
it's been pretty mild up here. Usually it's a lot colder than it has been, which I don't. People that like the snow, they don't have to work in it or drive in it. That's my theory on that. So,
Exactly. That's our problem down here. It's mostly the black ice because we're just not used to it. Not at all.
I bet. I bet. I mean, how often? Do you guys get snow every winter, or is it just like rare, like
No,
super rare?
honestly, we might get a day here and there. Not much, but when we do, it's pretty for a couple hours. Hey, Sean, how are you? Um,
Hey,
and then like I said, by that afternoon, a couple hours in, you got ice, and then you got people driving on black ice at night. It's a mess. It's mostly a mess.
I bet. I bet.
So
Well, so we were talking about the 411 cases, the strange occurrences where people go up missing, and
I think it's called the Missing 411, and it's David. What's his last name?
Politis, yeah,
Politis. Yes.
and there's a lot of these cases, I guess, and there's hot spots that they occur in,
Mm-hmm.
and there's usually like some kind of well, there's a paranormal supernatural phenomenon that goes along with it. Um, like the case of the Sierra Mountains I was talking about.
Yes.
They had recorded something very strange, and it's the only piece of evidence ever linked to directly to whatever is going on, and it's really interesting piece. Have you ever heard it though? Listen to it.
No, I was trying as we were about to start the show, and it just would not
Went
spool
off.
up for
Of
me.
course, it wouldn't load. Um, yeah. So have you seen any of the documentaries?
I have seen at least one, but I think it covered like, if I'm remembering right, it covered up to that point most
Oh,
of his series.
right.
So a little bit of this, a little bit of that one.
And there's some Bigfoot connection in there, but I used to live in Skamania County, which is like the Bigfoot capital of the world. Like this area is like has like an abundance of everything, I swear. But like I told people, Bigfoot's not my department, but they're kind of leaning outside of Bigfoot with this phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's it the location where I recorded that howling audio. Very
Yeah.
interesting. That's near the base of Mount Adams, which is a hot spot for those missing um, people, or like really really strange. Like if somebody goes missing, they'll send out a search party, and a storm always rolls in. There's some things that always happen when these people go missing, and it's usually in a location where they're very familiar with and that they've
Yeah.
been to a lot, and the storm will roll in, and then they'll sometimes they'll find clues that people are still alive, like this one hunter that was going to his hunting camp. He had a GPS tracker on him, and he'd been there a million times, and
Mm-hmm.
he got tracked going off where the trail split. He was kind of like just went straight. Didn't make any sense. Well, they called, a storm rolled in. They called out a search party. They couldn't find nothing. They found his shoes and his socks neatly like placed underneath a tree. And about 2 or 3 months later, they found his backpack and his rifle and a half of a cup of Gatorade had in a thermos on the stump.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like somebody's ranch in plain sight. And then
Huh.
about a year later, they found his skull where he actually passed away, but it was like 3 miles away from there. So weird situations like that where it just doesn't make any sense. They'll find their clothes a lot of times neatly folded up, like all their clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do find a body, it'll be where they already searched.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it's very odd situations. Like, and the people will seem to vanish like suddenly. Like, there was a case, I think it was in Yosemite National Park, where these people had their 2-year-old son with them, and he was right there. And they literally turned around and he was gone. And there were reports of people seeing this child in different locations, and then they eventually found the child's body up this cliff and tucked in like a little crevice, where they had to send people down to rappel down this cliff to get the child's body. It's just weird stuff like that. But there's been some survivors too, and they've been children, which is very odd. Like there's one case, this child that disappeared, same park, Yosemite National Park, and the child, and like single digit weather, like I mean down into like the like 6-7 degrees at night.
Ooh.
Gone for like a week. They called out the search, and a park ranger was just kind of patrolling around, and he saw this little kid tangled up in some blackberry bushes in this dry creek bed, and it was this child that they've been looking for. And and this one wasn't that long ago because it made the news and everything else. They questioned the child, like, because he's pretty much okay. He was a little bit dehydrated, but didn't show any signs of being out in the elements or anything. And what he told them was, he said that a talking bear came and got him, and told him that he wasn't the one that he was looking for. So then he let him go. So I mean,
that's interesting.
Pretty odd, huh?
It is.
Another case of a child that went missing. I can't remember where it was, but he was missing for about the same amount of time. And he said that the man with no face came and got him, took him to a cave, and he had all this stuff in the cave, like fed him and everything else. And and he said there were old guns in the cave or some weird thing like that, and that the people with the no face that had some about electricity or something coming out of their face that scared him, and then the kid was released. But it's like it makes me wonder what that is that that's going on. It's just very, very odd. And back to this location, on the Sierra Camp audio, there's a clip that they caught that we captured the exact same thing, the exact same noise that they captured, and coincidentally, which is odd, when we were investigating the location, there was there's some things that happened. A storm rolled in, and we thought it was snow. I mean, it sort of what we thought was snowing, but they were dead moths, and there were thousands of them.
Oh wow!
And and some other stuff like that happened, and then there's like an electrical storm. It was really weird for the time of year, but all this happened like in sequence, just like how they described in this phenomenon, like the storm rolling in and all that.
Yeah.
And also we became very unusually disoriented, which is really odd because these people always get lost and they don't know why or how they get lost. And because they're familiar with the area. Well, it's a straight stretch up to what's left of this town where we captured the audio. You just go straight ahead. Well, we went underneath these branches that were hanging down, and then we kind of like looked around. Me and my buddy were like, well, this doesn't look familiar. Well, somehow we'd gotten like way off the beaten path, and we had no idea like how it happened. And I just kind of like just wrote it off to like a brain fart or something. But then
did y'all miss any time? Did you notice?
That I don't know, but it was very, very odd. It was something that's never happened since. And then this guy that was investigating with me, he picks mushrooms, and he was up in that area not too long after that, and he got lost like for hours up there, and he don't even know how he got lost. And he said that there's something like following him, and he didn't know what it was the entire time. And he started to panic, like it was getting dark, and then he just kind of like went through this brush, and he stepped out on the dirt road that he was familiar with, like right there. And it's like, and the road was right there the whole time. It seemed like, but he was lost, and he said he doesn't know how it happened.
And he goes up there often,
all the time, yeah. So he doesn't go up there anymore because it freaked him out. But there was some, I guess, some cases of missing people up there, and somebody found like a human hand up there one time.
Oh,
yeah, very odd stuff. So, it's just it's really the cases are really fascinating because something's going on, and also in state parks they must be aware of it because the state parks don't keep record of how many people go missing in their parks. Like if they request the documents, like what this David Pilatus guy ran into, they don't want to they don't carry the records, or they don't want to like give them up for some reason, because I guess they're figuring, and that they know, I guess they're aware something weird is going on. That's what the idea is.
But you always hearing about state parks, and not state parks, just state parks, but national parks and this and that happening.
National parks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Yeah, very strange stuff. Do you guys ever? I don't know if there's anything like that down there, but it seems to be like
Uh,
in this area here.
Honestly, we don't have quite that kind of thing. I mean, we will occasionally have somebody disappear or something, but
Mhm.
it doesn't seem like. But we don't have as big of we don't have like national parks that are like
Right,
that, like
right. Like the wilderness.
Yellowstone or anything. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I've never personally been to Yellowstone, but like in Washington State, because I'm right on the border of Oregon and Washington. There's
yeah. I
places
remember you telling me that.
that nobody's ever set foot in. Like, I mean, no
Oh,
human being has ever. Like, I mean, they photographed it from above, but no one's ever actually stepped foot in it to this
oh
day.
wow.
Yeah, there's stuff up there that is completely and totally like unexplored.
That
So,
would be awesome to go to.
oh yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's a little bit of everything up here. It's I guess I'm pretty fortunate. I guess once you think about it, because
You really are.
all this stuff that that you can investigate up here. But yeah, it's definitely like here, it seems surreal. Like, you can't, like, if you go out in the middle of nowhere, you better, you have to be prepared, because you never know. Not just the wildlife you got to worry about. There's strange things that happen up here that yeah, that seem, they seem to, so surreal that's not real.
Oh yeah. Sean
Yeah, I
is
do.
asking, do you hike up there?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, all the time. Yeah, yeah. And I've experienced some things that were weird, to say the least. Doing it, that
Oh
it's
yeah.
yeah, it's a whole different thing. Like, you kind of get like an odd feeling, if there's like wildlife around,
Yeah.
but it's a whole different feeling when there's something like, something else around. It's strange. I remember one time we were up at this location, another location where people vanished without a trace, and we parked our vehicle downstream this river. It's a rattlesnake creek is what it's called, and we yeah, for a reason, there's lots of rattlesnakes.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Yeah, oh yeah. But there was something that it was getting dark, and we were heading back towards the rig down the creek, and there was something that was making a screeching sound I've never heard before, but it was just out of sight. Like if we were down the creek, it was just around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And it was getting closer and closer and closer. And it was starting to concern me, because I never heard anything like it. And we made it to the spot where our vehicle is just right up this hill, and there's like some little dead pine trees right across from the creek, and whatever it was made the noise from that spot, and it was really loud. And
Oh wow.
we hauled it out of there and got in the rig. But I was telling the story years later to someone from the local area, and they kind of had this weird reaction. They told me their story of the same location, that something was doing that, and their rig was broke down, and they got inside their car, and whatever it was, like, hung around outside the rig all night long.
Oh no.
until it got light. Yeah, and they never did see it, but they could hear it, and it just freaked them out.
Oh, I bet so.
Yeah, and there's another incident. I mean, it gets better than that, as far as the I don't know if you want to call it, they say they're cryptids or whatever this is, but
Yeah, we
go ahead.
kind of deal with cryptid stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know what these things are. I mean, to this extent, but there was this case we were going to up in a town called Dufur, which is interesting enough. There's kind of like a legend behind this. I had no idea that there was at the time, but we were heading up to this. The person was actually giving us a ride up to their house, because they live next to this Order of the Odd Fellows cemetery, and they had a bunch of activity going on in their house. Well, and it's pretty remote. We're heading up the hill, and going about 55 miles an hour, and something jumps over the guardrail, and we hit it with our car.
Oh crap.
And yeah, and it was odd, because whatever it was, it right before we hit it, it had reached out kind of like and did this thing through the headlights, and it had hands. It looked like it had hands. It had a bunch of dark fur, but it looked like it had hands. And we hit it. We ran up over it, and we hit it hard, going about like I said, 55, 60 miles an hour. Ripped the ground effects off her car and everything else. Well, she pulled over, and I got out of the car because I wanted to see what this thing was that we just hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I went down, walked down the road back and forth, both sides, looking over the edge to see if I could see what this thing was. There was nothing. There was no hair, no blood, nothing from what this thing that we hit.
Oh.
Just damage to the vehicle. And I remember it kind of like it kind of had a snout like a dog. It looked really weird. And come to find out, there's this Doofer legend of the Doofer werewolf. Come to find out, but there were some other people that have seen the same whatever this thing is,
Mm-hmm.
and that was awfully strange to witness, because it wasn't like any other animal I've ever seen. It wasn't a bear. It wasn't anything like that.
Did everybody see it? Like
everybody saw it. Yeah. It just freaked the client just freaked her out to the point that she was already freaked out after that. But by the time we made it up to her place to do the investigation, and then some stuff happened there, and it was just a rough night for her. But yeah, it was absolutely insane. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all are in that area were just bizarre.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like, I never used to believe in these physical type animals. And then we had an experience sometime later with something very similar to that thing that we hit, something real
Mm-hmm.
similar. And we lived in this little town called Rufus. And it was actually, it's not very far from where I live now. And we lived kind of like out in the middle of nowhere. Well, there was this person that was dating this person that was having some problems with some kind of spiritual paranormal attack, because they were involved in some kind of ritualistic type activity.
Oh yeah.
And they were dealing with this thing, and they were talking about its name was Inky, which is a Sumerian god and all that. Well, Jennifer's standing at the door, and we let our dog out because it needed to go out, and she's kind of making fun of this person that's coming over, like, well, she's gonna bring her buddies, Asmodeus and Beelzebub, whatever, making fun. And then all of a sudden she screams and jumps back, and the dog comes flying in. This thing ran around the corner and was trying to get the dog as it's coming up the stairs.
Wow.
It slid right past the steps, and what she said is it looked just like what you would picture a werewolf looking like. And she described it looked just like the thing that we ran over, that time.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and there's like, it slid past the stairs, and there's skid marks in the gravel right past the stairs, just like she described. And and there was another night we were in a big fifth wheel, and I was determined to see what this thing was. So we had a camera outside, and it was about 2:00 in the morning. We were all kind of sleeping, and my buddy was over, and he was across from me, and underneath the slide out of the trailer, all of a sudden it felt like something pushed up on the trailer and like pivoted the whole trailer over, like leaned the whole trailer over, like something got underneath there and pushed up on it. And we went out there, and I could see eyes with my flashlight, and we went chasing whatever it was, and it went down this draw. And the only way that I can describe it is it looked like somebody on like that had longer legs and arms than normal, like kind of crawling across the ground really fast, and they kept
Mm-hmm.
looking back, and whenever they looked back, I could see the reflection on the eye. But it went down this ravine, and then deer and stuff and all kinds of animals went flying out the other side and went up the other side.
Oh, I would, yeah.
And this thing just went run up the other side, and it was super fast. We couldn't catch up with it. But I've no idea what that was. And later we found footprints, and I got pictures of these footprints, and they're really bizarre. The footprints are.
Or you should try to get some impressions if anything like that happens again.
Well, yeah, for sure. But we like went up to there's like this canyon that goes way up in the middle of nowhere, and at the base of this canyon, there'd just been a fire up there, and there's deep ash, and in the ash were these imprints of these feet, and it was really bizarre. I mean, they looked like bare footprints, but they were different. Like they were like, instead of it being a flat foot like a human, they were like on their side, like, looked like they had their foot tilted upward, and it was just really weird. And what would somebody be doing up there with no shoes? I mean,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so some bizarre stuff goes on. Hey.
Yeah, Nicole.
Yeah. So I'd like to be interesting if anybody's had any experiences similar to that. If they've witnessed anything.
Yeah, anybody that has, if you want to type it in.
Yeah.
Come on. I know when I go back, I go to the coast sometimes. My daughter lives down there, and every time I come back, there's this one particular spot that you're on the interstate, but it has like woods in between the two different sides.
Yeah.
And then it has like land, and I believe it's farmland, but I don't really remember all of it. I always see this one freaky looking thing, always.
Really?
Every trip.
You see
And
it?
it almost, what now?
Like physically see it?
I physically see it.
Really?
The first time I was like, and then I started paying attention on that spot, and I would see it. And sometimes it would be where I'd barely, but it's almost like I have actually seen a picture of something that looks very similar, but it almost looks like its arms are.
Does it? What I mean?
Yeah, it's like it's weird.
Similar to what I described to you, like
yeah, that's what made me think of it. Yeah,
it have long hair hanging off its forearms, like kind of like
it did look like it did, but it also, it's always in, especially because I don't like to travel like at noon, or I always try to travel the weird times of day. And it's always like if I go really super early in the morning, or like right before sunset.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's, but it's very bizarre looking. It's like dark, whatever it is, hair or whatever.
Like really dark black hair.
But it's spotted. It not spotted, but it's not full fur. Yeah, it's not full.
Yeah, like does it look like kind of like body structure like a baboon, like kind of like real long arms in the front?
It does, but it's almost like part of it is turned backwards or something. It's very weird.
And black, that's right?
What I've seen is black.
Very, very dark. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like when we ran over. Did you get a look? Does it have a snout like a
as far as I can see? Now, it never has been close, but remember, this is an interstate.
Right, you're going pretty fast.
Yeah, but it's longer faced. Let me say, it's longer faced, and when I catch it, I have had a camera out before, and I've never been able, for whatever reason, to not get it.
When I was
never been able to get it.
About this thing that we ran over, again, she kind of had a weird reaction to it, and she was telling me a story about when they went over Sadie's Pass, which is it's a ways from here, but it's a mountain pass, and there had been like some bad weather and a wreck, and all these cars were backed up, and this thing jumps over the guardrail and just runs right up alongside everybody's car, right past them. And she described it, and she's like, and it's just like exactly what you described. And a lot of people saw it, run past their vehicle, and so these things, I never really fed into a lot of the these more physical type creatures like these cryptids, and because I'm kind of like I have to see a lot of evidence of it to actually believe it. But I've with these experiences like this, it's like there's a lot of credibility to that. Because there's no way these things are animals that are mistaken identity, and
no, not this, not what I've seen.
I've grown up hunting. My family's hunted, and I've been in the middle of nowhere my entire life, and I've never seen a lot of animals. I've never seen anything like these, what we're talking about.
And you have mostly, from what you've described, it's mostly when you see or experience that kind of strangeness, it's out. But you guys don't live in a real populated area.
No. Like right now, we live in the middle of nowhere. The town we live in is a ghost town. It's got one business or two businesses still going, and we live way up by the Oregon Trail. Along that, way up in the middle of nowhere. So
even the Oregon Trail has history. So
there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of haunted locations along the Oregon Trail. About everywhere you go, it's funny. You can just step out the front door and go somewhere, and it seems to be haunted. It's weird.
Well, think about all that happened on that Oregon Trail. I mean, think about how many people died or bad stuff.
And then there's a lot of stories that people don't even know about. Like there's a location called Starvation Lane, or Starvation Flats, not too far from here. And and where some people from the Oregon Trail, some of the settlers, they settled there and they all starved to death.
Oh wow!
They couldn't get any food, and there's a lot of tragedy like that, along this stretch.
Yeah.
It's really a lot of history, lots of history. Then there's all the native, like we talked about the native history here.
Of course.
Yeah. good. Well, it's really well, not good, but it's interesting stuff, because there's a lot of activity. And like I said, just down the street from me, I think I told you about this. There's this bed and breakfast. It's known as the Oskaloosa, but it's a really famous haunted location. I've never been to it. What's funny is it's 2 blocks away. I've never investigated. They wanted me to, but
you were telling me that, and I was like, why in the world would you not go there?
Exactly. Well, and some of the activity is quite bizarre. That is, linked to that location.
Well, it's close to you, and you have bizarre things happen on your.
Oh yeah.
Where you live. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That would be interesting for sure. Yeah, if y'all go there, you need to make sure you tape it for us.
Oh yeah. We would. It switches owners like all the time, which is kind of a clue that place is haunted if it switches. People want to sell right off the bat. And I talked to one of the owners, and they were skeptics before they bought it, and, and of course they aren't anymore. They're like, well, some bizarre, like they're telling me about how there's light fixtures that have no light bulbs that will come on. Like they got lights in them, and it's just weird stuff. I would be checking it out. Yeah, I should.
Yeah. You should.
And so it's pretty convenient, Yeah, and then of course we have some kind of unique things like not too far from here. There's the replica of Stonehenge. Have you ever heard of Sam Hill? You ever heard of him?
Yes.
And have we talked about this before? I can't remember.
We did not on the air. Not on the air. So yeah, tell everybody.
Well, Sam Hill, the expression "what in the heck is Sam Hill?" That came from this guy. He was a railroad tycoon, and he married a princess from another country. I can't remember what country, but he built her a castle, and that's what is now Mary Hill Museum. And he, for reasons unknown, he paid all this money to have a replica of Stonehenge built with the same latitude and longitude, and it works. It's the structure operates just like the one in Scotland. The original one's in Scotland, right? Am I mistaken?
I'm looking it up right now. Matter of fact, Mary Hill Museum of Art. Is that what it is?
Well, it's got all kinds of stuff in there. It's got,
In Washington, Clickitot or something like that.
Clickitot County.
Yeah, it says.
Look at the Stonehenge. It's now it's dedicated to a World War II monument, but that's not. Okay. But there's a lot of. It's kind of mystery why he built it, because his tomb is right below it.
Oh.
See, and but yeah, like people come from all over the world during the different solstices to do different rituals at this replica of Stonehenge.
Yeah, it says it's isolated museum. I was trying to get into maybe the history. Here you go. Designed by architects Hornblower and Marshall. It was named for Mary Hill, for his wife, daughter of James J. Hill, a Great Northern Railroad. Okay, yeah. Okay. Samuel Hill's school friend, King Albert I of Belgium, construction was halted upon America's entry to World War I. Okay, unfinished. It was dedicated to Queen Marie of Romania.
Okay.
So maybe
her dress is right when you walk in the door. They have her dress on display. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
But look up the Stonehenge Memorial.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Is the Oh, come on now. See what I'm talking about? It's spinning. Every time especially during this show, I get bizarre things that happen, and it's not just him, but think about it. I've had 2 shows already on Mondays, and we talk about all kinds of stuff.
Getting all stirred up, getting all fired up.
Yeah, get everything stirred up and all. Yeah, but it's kind of interesting if the people that watch. It is. Well, I'm looking it up, and it's not showing it. And do they call it Stonehenge?
They call it the Stonehenge. Look up Mary Hill Stonehenge replica.
I got it.
You found it?
Yeah, it's Stonehenge Memorial.
Yep.
A full-scale replica of Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, it's Yeah, I guess that would have been what it would be back like in the day. Back in the day.
Like the structure was when it was.
Yeah, I was trying to see if it would pull it up as a bigger picture. I know I can't really show it probably.
Very interesting place though. Very.
Oh, there it is. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me try to.
Oh yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Have you been there?
Yeah, been there a lot. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, very well. There was a college that was studying the abnormal EMF spikes that are present on some of the columns.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't explain what was going on because the inner columns had a high level of EMF, and they couldn't really like they were trying to figure out what was going on. So they had like real time sensors on there. You could go on their website and look at it.
Yeah. All right. Sean is asking, how far are you from that?
Oh, I'm about 20 miles from that.
You're close to all of this bizarre stuff.
Yeah.
So what is the stone? Do you know what kind of stone it is?
I think that they're just cast concrete stones.
Mm-hmm.
What I think they are. But it's very, very, very odd. Like during all the solstices, there are pagans all over the world that come to that, or all over the United States, I guess.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and I've been up there during some strange, how would you spell it? Space, I can't think of it right now. But
how about during the Northern Lights and stuff? Can you?
Oh yeah, something else that we've had a lot of is the Northern Lights. Have you guys experienced that down there?
Yeah, we've actually been able to see it here, which is like crazy. Yeah, and I mean we live way far. I'm from South Carolina for everybody that doesn't know. Yeah,
storms or something like that. They're blaming it on. Oh yeah, like there's some photographs. I'll have to send them to you because it was like the most bizarre thing that I've ever seen. In the sky, just like shimmering colors, and it was. I remember like over the years, that the solar lights have never been down this far north, or not north, but south, I guess you'd say. I remember there was one time that you could see them over the horizon if you're way up north, like in Trout Lake. I was dating this girl that was up in Trout Lake years ago, and we were up at her parents' place, and we could see like just over the horizon, we could see a shimmer kind of, and that's like that was like the best that you could ever get. And now the Northern Lights are occurring quite often because from the solar storms that are coming from the sun.
Yeah.
But there's also a direct connection with paranormal activity and solar the Aurora Borealis or whatever the heck they call it.
Aurora Borealis. There you go.
That's it.
So have you done a paranormal investigation during the lights?
Never have.
Oh, come on.
We're supposed to have some more of that. We're supposed to have some more of that here, like within the next week, I guess, because there's some kind of large tear in the sun, I guess, and it's going to spit out a bunch of these like the particles that are supposed to be contained, and they're going to hit the earth, and that's what they say. That's going to be.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Lights are going to show up, but and who knows? I mean, who knows what the real reason is? We've got these drones up here. We've talked about that. They're still going on. I guess Oregon's a hot spot now for these drones, and they've come out and said they have no idea what they are. Yeah, it's quite bizarre the things that are going on right now, and these things fly over top of us like all the time. We're out there like watching them fly back and forth, and yeah, it's bizarre.
And we showed one of the videos a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now I myself have not seen the drones with my own eyes yet, but I live in the country, just not as much in the country as you do.
Are they in the state? Like, have you heard that they're?
I have. Yeah,
they're like worldwide now. I guess like they're all over the place.
Seems like it is.
Well, and it's like what? It's really bizarre because it's to the point where it's not. It can't be our government or like a single government, on Earth doing it because it's too far spread, and these things are showing properties of like anti-gravity technology and all kinds of stuff that human beings don't have yet. So
that's true.
Weird stuff, like I remember, it was growing up. It was always a huge mystery. The whole Area 51 was like a big
Oh
deal.
yeah.
And like now that they've come out and admitted that these things are real, nobody cares. Notice that?
Yeah, that's
It's
the
weird.
thing. Nobody. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, okay,
I was like,
yeah,
oh, whatever, and yeah, I mean these things are big too. Like when they fly over top of you, they're like the size of like a car, and it's
dang.
just with these big flashing, rotating lights on them, and just weird, just really weird. It's like just bizarre because if somebody was trying to fly something and hide it, what's up with the Christmas tree lights, and
Yeah, exactly."
really weird stuff. I mean, but it's something that's happening, very real. And now, have you heard about that fog that's making people sick too? You heard about that?
I did, but I haven't. I don't know where it was that I read about.
Well, it's supposed to be like a lot, like quite a few states, like in other areas. And we've had it here. We've had this fog, this weird fog that shows up, and it's like you shine a light into it, and it's got these really thick particles. It's like really weird. And and there've been some people getting sick that are like really weird illnesses that come and go. Like they're like within 24 hours they're fine, and it's like they're linking that to these drones. I mean, all kinds of weird stuff. So it's
There's so much going on. I'll be honest with you, and I have noticed that. How do I put this without? I see energy and stuff a little different than some people do,
right.
And like a lot of people say, oh, when the northern lights, you can see them, you have to use a camera and all this. Well, I saw it. I didn't know people had to use a camera.
Oh no!
And I was like,
no,
yeah, I was like, well, here people were saying, oh no, you can't really see it, and I was like, I can see it. I
see the purples and the blues and all that.
Yeah, and I was like,
it shows up. Yeah, some locations it was showing up just in photographs.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah. And there's legends like they say don't whistle at the northern lights. You ever heard about that?
I don't understand that though. Did I don't know. I thought I had heard something wrong, just the weird crap,
No, but there's some superstitions about you don't whistle at the northern lights because they're, some kind of spirit in the sky. Yeah, I mean, I've heard all kinds of stuff about it, but
well, think about it. Back in the day before,
yeah,
even just the Native Americans. I mean, before the settlers. I mean, think about, what did they say? Every civilization has sky people.
Yeah.
If you look at the drawings and stuff.
Oh yeah, sure. And there's the ancient Sumerians had hieroglyphs of what looked like a spacecraft, and the sky people. No, there's a lot of legitimacy to this, and there's what's really weird is there's some controversial figures that there's this individual that seems to get information somehow before that everybody else does, and I won't say his name. Very unpopular guy, and he months ago, he predicted 9/11.
Yeah,
and in detail, and he predicted some other events that were impossible. It seems like for him to predict, and about a year and a half ago, he was talking about the Sumerian gods are going to return to Earth. He was talking about this. Of course, people think he's a nutcase, And, but the guy's been right way more than he's been wrong, and it's just it makes me wonder, like what's going on, something obviously I think, but it's hard to say what that is. There've been there've been a lot of earthquakes. You heard on the news, like along our coast, especially there have been earthquakes because we live right on that.
Yeah, and and now there's the and this will probably rub somebody wrong, and I apologize if it does, but there's still people missing from the hurricane that messed us up here in North Carolina. There's still people missing, but people don't talk about that much. They talk about the flyer in California, and it's terrible. I know it is.
Oh yeah.
But they have whole towns missing in North Carolina.
Really?
Still. Yes. Still. They have people. They're finding people in trees in bizarre areas because the hurricane wiped it out.
I might be seeing you guys sooner than you think because I looks like I got a job where I go down and I assist and sell like material to disaster areas, like what you're just talking about. And
right now it's California, but there's no telling.
Yeah, but your location is still like a hotspot, and
oh yeah. Yeah, there's still, my parents' roof is still not fixed yet.
Wolfpack says it was God's due. Well, we'll see, I guess.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, if you know you're coming this way, we'll plan something.
I'll let you know. I find out this Thursday, I think, whether I got the job or not. But it's just it would be interesting because hey, get paid to go travel around and be interesting.
There you go, and you don't have to work 24/7. So definitely,
sure don't. It's like all the natural disasters. Like right now, we live on a very dangerous volcanic area too. Like
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. It's called the Ring of Fire. Well, we got Mount St. Helens blew, back in the day.
Oh, that's right. My brain does not think of you being that close to that for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. It's not very far away. Well, I mean, it's a couple hundred miles away, but I mean, it's not very.
That's
far.
Not that far for no.
And the Cascade Range is Mount Hood, which is just a few miles away. That's like 30 miles away, and then Mount Adams is about 40 miles away, and right here it's called the Ring of Fire. It's like these volcanic, and they don't know which one's the super volcano. They don't know if it's Yellowstone or here, but the seismic activity, they know they're connected though.
Yeah, I was about to say they're connected.
And the seismic activity, like there's been a catastrophic event I can't remember how many years, but we're overdue for one. And there's a lot of seismic activity out there, and the way that the atomic plates are is they're this one's bad because it's caught on one like this, and it's like a springboard. Once it lets go, it's going to let go. And
yes,
I figure it'll be the most catastrophic earthquake to ever be recorded when it goes off. And it's going to, and we've been having like 7 point whatever on the Richter scale earthquakes off the coast here, like every day.
Oh, so shoot.
They figure when this goes off, it's going to go off, and there'll be no more California. They say there'll be no more Oregon. So it's a ticking time bomb. It's only going to a matter of time. And the volcanoes are becoming active. Mount St. Helens, they had to evacuate the area because it's becoming active again.
Well, think about how many natural disasters we've had in the last 20 years.
And what's weird about this whole thing is that in the Bible, Christ was asked, well, what would be a sign of your second coming? And he said, well, the number of earthquakes shall increase, is what he said. So, weird, with some weird events going on, weird, strange events.
There is. And the paranormal, how can I put this? I'm going to get judged for this too, but that's okay. I've been I was on an investigation, and we were, just asking questions, interacting with the spirits. And one of them, who sounded, I want to say, like a elder, like authoritative, said the veil is thin. And he kept saying it. Like every once in a while he'd say the veil is thin.
Do you remember what the thing said on the last show? The AI, do you remember what it said at the closing of the...
Yeah. I don't remember the exact words, but yes.
The veil is thinner than you think.
Yes. And that's bizarre. I thought about it then, but I was trying to remember if that is exactly what... But yeah, the veil is thin.
The veil
is thinner than you
think. The veil between the known and the unknown is thinner than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting stuff,
Yeah, veil is thin. You're right.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Absolutely. Does he have a show on the network yet?
He's not with our network, but we
right.
We everything he plays for us, and everything he has we play. We were actually the serial killer show that is at 8:00. We were on his show last night, all four of us. So myself, Thomas Gormley, Thomas, Blaine, Rohan, and Litriana Brown. We were all on there on his show.
For next week, I I've got
Yeah.
some most intense moments video made up,
That'd be cool.
and we'll play that. And I've got a bunch of never before seen evidence that we'll play, and I'll send it all to you. And
Please.
yeah, and some of it's pretty. There's a lot of stuff that I have that's never been aired. That'd be kind of interesting to air. But there's the greatest moments video is good. I mean, it shows a lot. Like over the years, it shows a lot of some of the stuff that we ran into. But,
that'll be very cool. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get together. Just he Sean is the only one interacting. There's other people watching, but Sean's the only one interacting. Yeah, I have people tell me, "Oh, well, I was cooking dinner or washing clothes or doing this or listening." So,
well, there's I mean some of the stuff that just crazy stuff that's happened over the years. It's been
well, y'all have told me stuff off air, and I'm just like, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, and I'm like, that's crazy. That's why I said if I ever get up there, we definitely gotta.
Literally never a boring moment. I'm serious. Like the cases that we take on, never. I mean, I didn't know it was anything out of the ordinary until I started really, interacting with other teams, and it's like, man, these guys that just come up here and check out what we got up here. It's
Sean is saying he's gonna have to have you on the show.
Oh, sure. I'd love to be on your show. I'd love to be on your show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's schedule something. Yeah. Love to.
Yeah. I think he's booked up. We were talking, but yeah, he simulcast is basically kind of what we're trying to do. Trying to get it where it all goes on the same thing, but he's not.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, we do that, and we got other people that share everything out. So we're growing. We're very much growing. We got other shows coming.
So yeah. Just let me know when would be a good time for you, and I'll make sure to take that time. Have that available for you.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, next week, we'll get together and you send it to me a few days ahead of time in case we have gremlins.
We'll get prepared for it. But it's fascinating stuff, and I have this archive. I'm going to go through it, get some more stuff. But
that'd be cool.
It's some of the stuff. I mean, over the years I've witnessed things that if I hadn't documented it, I would have never believed what I was witnessing. I mean, it was so insane. That's how insane it's like I'm beyond the point where because I always question things I witnessed personally, always.
I do too.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like, no, I didn't just witness that,
Well, see, remember, I don't know if you remember this. I was a paramedic for years,
right.
And I denied what I saw and felt and all that for so long.
Oh yeah.
But if I could get my thoughts straight, I am going to write a book, or probably more because it's going to take that. But things that I have just seen, but the few people that I did tell, oh, you're crazy, or you didn't see that.
Yeah, of course.
It's always that. But yeah, there's some stuff, and it's bizarre.
Back in the day, when I first started doing this, I still don't tell anybody I do this when I first, meet people. They always find out later, like somehow, but it's a lot more accepted nowadays than when it was back, when I first started. And
either I get what, or let me tell you about this time. I always get what. Yeah, something like that. So,
and my theory, my whole outlook is that everybody's had an experience. I think if they really think about it, that's my opinion. There was a time where skeptics wanted me to take them out all the time, and there's certain people that they really can't. I don't think they can cope with the reality of this.
No, that's why they deny.
They get up every day, they go to work, and and they have to view the world in a certain way. And there's this guy. I was just thinking about this, which is interesting. He was like an extreme athlete. He was like this mountain climber. Those guys that hang off of rock cliffs and stuff with their bare hands. One of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he found out that I was a paranormal investigator. So he was talking about, how he would, he wanted to go along with me and nothing would happen if he went along and all this. And I'm like,
oh, yeah, right.
So I didn't want to take him along because, I would take skeptics out, but it seemed to like really do damage to their psychological fibers. So I stopped doing it, Well, he wanted to go out and, and so I took him out on this case, and of course something did happen. And, traumatized him so bad he couldn't even leave his house for like weeks, Like he
Oh,
just
wow.
sat inside, and I did the evidence review. He didn't want to go over the evidence, and it's just a lot of people can't handle it. I guess like they can't really
No.
handle the reality of it, and yeah, it's I don't get it. It's like I can't really block out those people that can block out portions of reality are kind of gifted, I guess, because I can't do that. If something's real, it's real. I really
Well,
don't.
I used to try to deny it, and then I just didn't so much deny it. I just didn't
Well,
tell
in your case,
people.
I mean,
So
with the abilities that you're talking about, it's probably like there's a lot of questioning your sanity. I mean, just doing this normally, if it wasn't for, like I said, equipment capturing it, I'd question my sanity, all the time. But it's like there's probably a lot of that, I mean, would be.
oh yeah, I have stuff happen to me all the time. I mean, constantly happen to me. I don't mean like 1,000 times a day, but I have stuff happen often. And no, I don't have proof. So it's just me a lot, especially when I'm driving home. Because like I said, I live in the country. I don't live like a million miles. But yeah, I live in the country. And sometimes coming home,
mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I see things and I'm going, did I really see that? And then I'm thinking, yeah, I did. But
and I think a lot of us too, like even the ones that don't have that ability. Well, like a lot of the things, so everything that I witness, like there's somebody with me, they'll hear it too,
mm-hmm.
They'll hear something weird, this validation like that. But it's like I think everybody has instincts kind of, and you just get that feeling that there's something around, you can tell.
Yes.
And a lot of people get that, and that's not like a special gifted ability. But
well, you know what I tell people, skeptics, I said, have you ever been going down the road, especially down here, and you say, God, I need to slow down, there might be a deer here,
right,
and then a deer runs out. Well, guess what, you
exactly that. Well, yeah. No, I've had some weird things where I've talked about something and then it'll happen.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't know. I can't really wrap my head around that one. Then it happens once in a while, and it'll be spooky accurate, and it's like, well, I don't know. But it happens. It happens once in a while, and that one kind of, I don't know what to think about that. It's kind of I don't know if it's a perception thing, just kind of studying events that are happening and think, oh well, this is going to happen. But
well, have you ever had like deja vu?
Oh yeah.
Everybody's had that. Well, that's the thing too. That's the thing too.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You think that's kind of weird. Which weird. I haven't had that like in for years, but I used to have it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Back, a few years ago, and yeah, it's like or I'll get a feeling that something bad's going to happen, and then
yes,
something will happen. And or I'll like. I mean, I've made some weird predictions that happen. I mean, they're just spooky accurate, which are like down to certain details. And I don't know what to think about that, but it doesn't happen a lot, so I don't know.
No, there's the things that we don't even, I mean, you'll say, dang, I was like this or something. And then you don't even remember it happening or thinking it until it happens. Yeah. Precognition.
Right.
Not, yeah.
I mean, to the point that people have blamed me for the bad event that happened because like, man, you jinxed everybody because when you
said something, yes, I've had that.
And it's like I've taken an approach, like I try to take it, and the term science. I don't even like the term scientific because it doesn't really apply, to what we do.
No, but we try to document as much as possible, and because you know what. We were talking, I don't know if you saw the Shane's show tonight. The guy at 7:00. He had Austin Maynard, who does equipment, and well, he does other stuff too, but he awesome equipment. And he was talking about they're doing a thing where they put like 5 people and they play these different frequencies and stuff, and they document everything. And a lot of people will have like different reactions and that kind of stuff to it. Yeah, you'll have to watch what he says, but
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I was like, dang, I'd love to do something like that. That would be to be involved in something just to see what would happen.
this taboo form of science that is it's a real form of science. It's, you know, like
It is.
like everything. Well, yeah, because they can prove it, and it's new to our field because it's kind of giving what we've been studying credibility, you know, to the scientific community, you know, what they've dismissed all this time, and yeah, it's just, you know, I mean, like when it comes to evidence of what we're doing, you have to be very skeptical, and I've been very skeptical with what I do, but you know, there's like you know, there I've said it time and time again, we've got enough evidence to prove there's something going on.
Yeah.
More than enough.
Well, I'll tell you what I do. I have a camera at my house.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I'll look at the camera, and I'll go, I saw, and then I'll say, nope, I'm gonna check. So I'll check with a couple of friends. Yep, Sean is one of them. I will send him pictures, and I'll say, do you see anything?
Oh no,
yeah.
We have a camera outside that it gets tripped by motion, and some of the things, and it records audio when it does it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you some of the things that this camera's picked up, and it's absolutely insane, absolutely insane.
I've got to get mine. I have an indoor cam, and it's facing outside, but I got it for a specific.
Some people don't like to run audio in their own house, but it's like, you know, there've been some insane. I mean, when I say, I mean, better stuff that I've gotten out. I mean, on a lot of investigations go on right here.
Well, see, I don't ghost hunt at my house. I have, during the hurricane, when the lights were out, we got bored.
Usually,
yeah, I got bored, and there was somebody here, and we did it briefly, and then we did it outside briefly. But that's the only time. But I see, and things happen around my house all the time. But I don't have anything in here that picks it up. But
everything's outside. Like the camera outside is a security camera, and just when it's tripped at odd times, you know, like reviewing some of the stuff that trips it. Yeah, like I'm the same way. I don't run audio inside my place because, you know, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens, and it's
well, that's like, me. I know things that happen, but
you know, it's like, man, I'm not really encouraged with what's going on. And
I have
items that are, you know, supposedly cursed and haunted. You know, I have my own collection of stuff. You know,
I do too. Yeah,
it's like, well,
it kind of freaks people out a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to ask you: do you have dolls? Do you have dolls?
I don't have any dolls. No.
Really?
I haven't. Well, I've tried to acquire some from some private people, from some private owners, but yeah, no, I don't have any dolls.
Well, would you like me to tell you where we get a lot of interesting things? Go to a thrift store. Okay. We have a hospice store, thrift store, Goodwill, and you'd be surprised that you can find haunted objects.
Oh, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, Sean is telling on me. I have some spirits around. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Here's one story. The power went out in the whole town here a while back.
Mm-hmm. And I remember you guys telling me that.
Outside, where the thing was right, like standing there, like right next to me, and it was just really bizarre. I mean, and outside we've captured a lot of audio. I've heard things like, I mean, me and my neighbor both sitting outside, and this sounded like a child come up to us and asked us where their mom was. I mean, just odd stuff like that, audible where you could hear it, and and when something like that happens, I don't say anything. I wait for the other person to react. You know?
You kind of go.
Yeah, they always react to it, and I have a collection of Native American artifacts that my grandfather passed down to me, and I don't know if that has anything to do with the activity or not, but
it could.
Yeah, it could. I mean, I'm like, I know there's objects that have energy attached to them, but you know, it's one of those things where, I mean, I've done experiments. When I used to live by myself, I did all kinds of experiments. I removed items from people's homes that
Lord,
bad juju. Like this one thing, this antique collector had this object that it looked like how wind chime is arranged, but it had human bones, and some of the bones, like their rib bones, they had like something etched in them. They were runic writing, and it was
that's not a good thing.
I had a occult specialist look at this, and it was a cursed item, and I brought it into my kitchen, hung it in my kitchen for a week, and nothing happened. Because because I was, I won't do that. If there's other people that will suffer from it, but I was my own guinea pig doing stuff like that, over the years. And, there wasn't really much of anything that happened at that point, but at times I've had other things happen that were pretty extreme. On the next show, we'll discuss this one case that was the most extreme thing I've ever dealt with to date, or to ever, before or after. And this thing followed me home, and it really was the most insane thing I've ever dealt with, and I could be going back to this location.
Oh.
So
please, if you go, do something to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Do stuff.
This thing, I've never seen anything like it to this day. It's the most insane show of power I've ever seen. And this thing does not have a good disposition, and there's a lot of things about it that are. It's the only case that I was actually concerned for the safety of myself and those around me.
Please protect yourself and before you go, and when you're there, please.
Well, we'll have to discuss that when time comes. But yeah, so I could be going back because this thing had a big impact on why I do what I do, and it affected a lot of people that I was around, and it just it's kind of one of those things that me and it have some unfinished business to.
Well, I understand that. Well, it is over an hour.
Okay.
And I didn't even notice. I tell you, we get to talking, and it's just But if you guys have not looked into the missing 411 files by David, say his last name.
Oh, David Politis.
Yes. Look into it. Look into it.
Very interesting, and we're going to go back to that location, so we'll be doing some more stuff on that. So there's some stuff there to coming in the near future, and some other stuff once I confirm it, and then we'll talk about that. But so there's some stuff coming up. So thank you for all that tuned in to Chasing Nightmares.
Yes.
And
thank you.
Appreciate it very much. And the veil is thinner than they think, than what we all think. Remember.
Is. Okay. All right. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, everyone.